Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam. 2021 is almost in the books, and it's time for my 10 favorite movies of the year list. I see 2021 as a bit of a recovery year for movies. I don't think there were a ton of movies that I actually kind of hated. That's for the list tomorrow. But I don't know if it's just because I'm an optimistic person, but most of the movies I saw this year were at least a median of good. But making this best list was really difficult. I was really spoiled for choice. So there are quite a few honorable mentions. However, I want to talk about these three movies, or at least mention these three movies, because I saw them in 2021. However, technically speaking, they were released in 2020. Our Friend, Minari, and The Father. I love all three of these for different reasons. However, they were all released in 2020, technically speaking, so I can't put them on the list. However, seek all three of them out, especially The Father and Anthony Hopkins' devastating performance. Jumping back to the 2021 list, here are my honorable mentions. These are movies that I loved, however, they just missed the main list by that much. Godzilla vs. Kong, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, Army of the Dead, The French Dispatch, Wrath of Man, Encanto, and Belfast. I love all of those movies for a lot of different reasons, but again, there were 10 other movies that were better than those. So let's get into the main list, starting with number 10. Number 10, Nobody. I saw this in March of this year, and honestly, I was expecting, even though I loved it, I was expecting movies that I liked more to replace it. But no, it stayed in my top 10 for the year. The movie is just a blast. Bob Odenkirk has got to be in the conversation for one of the more underrated actors going today. He can do silly in Better Call Saul, he can do dramatic in The Same Place, and he can be a bit of a badass in Nobody. The bus scene alone has got to be one of my favorite sequences all year. It is so well shot and well filmed. I'm a sucker for things like that, so I was just in heaven. And this has got to be one of my favorite endings of the year. It's kind of stupid, but it's also like the fun kind of stupid. When someone actually goes out of their way to make the brother of the main character, RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan, and the father of both of these two men, Doc Brown from Back to the Future, how can that not make my list? I mean, how? Number 9, Zack Snyder's Justice League. The whole release the Snyder Cut business was just a headache. Even I, as a DCEU apologist, just had no time for it. I was just sick of the whole thing. But throughout everything, I maintained the position that if the Snyder Cut did actually exist, I would watch it. And yeah, they announced earlier this year that it was coming exclusive to HBO Max. So I sat down and I watched it. And yeah, the movie's awesome. The movie is 4 hours long. Yes, it does have Zack Snyder's more issues that I like to point out about him, even though I am a fan of his work. However, this is so much better than the Justice League we initially got in 2017. It's not even a competition. And I know that there are a lot of people who are not especially big fans of Zack Snyder, but I've always maintained that if he were to be left relatively alone to let him do his own thing, then he can be excellent. And yeah, that's exactly what this movie was. Did there have to be some stuff in there? I think you could have mostly cut out the nightmare stuff. I don't think that was entirely necessary. It was setting up for something that we now know is never going to happen. But not only does the movie exist, but it was 4 hours that just kind of flew by. Now that this release the Snyder Cut business is officially out of everyone's system, I am looking forward to whatever the DCEU cooks up next, because this was a surprisingly good year for the DCEU. The Suicide Squad, which did miss honorable mentions, though I still love it, was good as well. They got the Peacemaker series coming up, which I am going to try and watch. And then, of course, you got The Flash and Black Adam coming out in 2022. So it's a pretty good time to be a DCEU or on that bandwagon. And if you're a part of the hashtag Release the Ayer Cut movement...
You know what? The next time you have a thought, let it go.
Number 8, Free Guy. And speaking of movies I did not think would come anywhere close to the top 10, even though I actually thought it was really good, it's Free Guy. And the movie actually got better and better the more I thought about it. I said in my review that the movie actually does a good job of asking the question of, Guy is essentially a part of a computer, and yet throughout the entire thing, he starts to get feelings. Is he aware of his consciousness? Is he aware? Like, the movie almost feels like a Turing test, with meme references and a well-placed Captain America reference. I'm not calling Free Guy a highbrow film. However, I have seen highbrow movies that are as wide as an ocean, but as deep as a puddle. Free Guy is the complete opposite of that. It appears like just light, breezy fun, but if you look beneath the surface, you'll find that this movie actually asks some pretty deep questions. The movie didn't have to do that, and I'm so glad that it did. Number 7, Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised. This is a Hulu exclusive, however, I was lucky enough to be able to see it in a theater relatively close to me, in my local luxury theater. And I'm so glad I went out of my way to see this, because this has got to be one of the biggest surprises of the year for me. I loved this movie for a number of different reasons, chief among them being the music. I grew up listening to music similar to this. My favorite music time is from the 60s and 70s. Bands like The Doors, The Who, Pink Floyd, the early Beatles, and of course rest of the Beatles, but early Beatles. And even though I knew some of the bands that were involved here, including guys like Carlos Santana, my eyes were open to some musicians and talents that I would have never picked out. The entire time, I was just sitting there thinking to myself, how was this sitting on a shelf for 40 years? I love learning about history, and I love learning about these little things in history that don't get too much attention. This happened around the same time as Woodstock, and Woodstock, as great a festival as that was, gets so much coverage that it's nice to hear about the Harlem Cultural Festival, which happened literally in the same vicinity as Woodstock, and yet Woodstock is up here in relevance, and the Harlem Cultural Festival is like way down here. I think we should learn more about the latter. Number 6, A Quiet Place Part 2. I love the original Quiet Place. I think it's excellent. When I heard a sequel was coming out, I was very worried because horror sequels, even though there are good ones, tend to skew into the not good category. I was so happy that A Quiet Place Part 2 was as good as it was. Like I said, John Krasinski is subtly becoming the next Alfred Hitchcock, and I am so happy at that development, because his direction on this was so good. There were so many scenes where I was afraid to yell out myself because I was so sucked in that I was thinking that those creatures were going to start coming after me if I made a sound. The always awesome Emily Blunt is awesome. Cillian Murphy is always nice to see, as well as Djimon Hounsou. I also liked the kids. They also pulled their weight as well. I am very nervous that A Quiet Place Part 3 will have no involvement from John Krasinski. That makes me very nervous, like I mentioned. However, if A Quiet Place Part 2 is any indication, I feel like this, upcoming trilogy is in good hands. Number 5, The Green Knight. I have a very complex relationship with The Green Knight, because when I initially reviewed it, I just openly said, it looks very nice, but I just don't get it. I then saw it again. My dad actually invited me to see it again because he wanted to see it. And he liked it, and I liked it upon second viewing, more so than when I did the first time. And the more I've thought about it and mulled it over in my head, the better it's gotten. The Green Knight is very much A24 doing A24 things. However, that style is so unique that it has to make The Green Knight one of the more unique movies of the whole year. Dev Patel gives a very understated and just general great performance, as well as Joel Edgerton and Alicia Vikander in the limited roles that they have. The last 20 minutes of this movie is worth the price of admission alone. That is the whole nutshell, or that is the whole nucleus of what the movie is trying to say about legends and folklore, and how if you make a commitment, you gotta live up to it no matter what it is. I like that. I like the spirit of that. I need to see more movies from David Lowery, please. Like, the man is a silent killer. Number 4, The Last Duel. The Last Duel was a movie that I saw later than most. There was a part of me that just kind of didn't want to see it because of timing issue. However, I heard so many good reviews about it that I just was like, I have to go see it. And again, I am so glad that I did, because this movie blew me away. I will be upfront in saying that I get why this movie was a box office failure, just due to the subject matter and, well, certain events that happen that are very distressing. However, in terms of dialogue, in terms of acting, and in terms of third acts, this is among some of my favorites of the year. The third act by itself has got to be my favorite of the entire year. It's Adam Driver and Matt Damon starting off as a general knight's duel with the lances and the whole nine, then going from swords to axes and then to fists. It's genuinely like blood-curdling stuff, but it's done so well. It's shot in camera, and it's the kind of thing that Ridley Scott is known for doing, and he helmed it like a master. Again, I understand why this was the box office failure that it was in terms of subject matter. However, if you have not seen The Last Duel, do yourself a favor and see it. If for nothing else, Jodie Comer's excellent performance, because she went above and beyond for this one. Number 3, No Time to Die. Daniel Craig as James Bond will be my first James Bond, and while I still think the best Bond is Sean Connery, Daniel Craig is very much a close second. In terms of quality of films, though, I believe Daniel Craig is the best out of all of them, and that is especially true with No Time to Die. It's about as perfect an ending to this version of Bond that you could ever ask for. In terms of cinematography, score, action, the whole nine, this is up there with some of the very best. And it's also a great performance from Daniel Craig and Lea Seydoux. Like, everyone is bringing their A-game to this. Rami Malek is very disturbing as Safin. I think he gives one of the more underrated villain performances of the year. And the ending to this movie, while I can see as people not liking it, I don't see any other ending for this movie really putting the period at the end of the sentence that is Daniel Craig's Bond. Like you couldn't have asked for a better ending. That's all I'll say. I have no idea who is going to be the next Bond, but whoever they choose is going to have big shoes to fill. Number 2, SpiderMan No Way Home. If I was ranking these movies based on audience experience, this would easily be number 1. I saw this movie twice, and both times I had just a runner's high. Spider-Man No Way Home is just one of the most crowd-pleasing movies I've ever seen. This could have so easily just been fan service for the sake of fan service, though them actually referencing the I'm somewhat of a scientist myself meme was genuinely awesome. But no, they actually put meat on the bones of this story. This is a definitive Spider-Man story, despite Tobey, Andrew, all the villains showing up. This is a very busy movie. However, its heart remains in Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And that's what makes this movie so good. Spider-Man love is at an all-time high right now, and yeah, it's clear to see why, because this movie just went above and beyond. And my favorite movie of 2021 is Dune. I'm a big fan of Dune from 1984, flaws and all, but when I heard that this was going to be remade, I was a little concerned. But then when I heard Denis Villeneuve was directing it, I was not even mad. I was excited as all hell. When all the movies started getting delayed and being pushed back, when Dune got pushed back, that's when my heart broke, because this was a movie that I was waiting so long for, and then when I finally saw it, it exceeded all of my expectations. One of the chief criticisms of this movie is that it's Dune Chapter 1, aka it's incomplete. I even read a review that said this movie feels soulless. I guess it's just critics' lot in life to be just this disappointed in everything. I can understand where they're coming from to a certain degree. However, Denis Villeneuve has got a lot on his plate when it comes to Dune, in terms of folklore and in terms of there's just everything that's going on in that book. So I appreciate that he is separating things, explaining everything, breaking it down, and working his way through it slowly but surely. I appreciate that. I like the spirit of that. Timothée Chalamet was great as Paul Atreides, and the rest of the cast too was just very well done. Josh Brolin, Oscar Isaac, Dave Bautista, Stellan Skarsgård. I could go down the line, and especially Rebecca Ferguson, because she was just excellent. Dune Chapter 2 just cannot get here fast enough. Like, I'm literally on the edge of my seat just thinking about it right now. Well, that is all for me, and those are my 10 favorite movies of the year. What are your favorite movies of the year? Leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. Stay tuned for tomorrow. I'll be dropping my 10 least favorite movies of the year list. Also, I'll be dropping a over-under video where I'm going to be talking about 5 movies I thought were overlooked from this year and 5 that I thought were underrated. So be on the lookout for that. And if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam. I'll see you in the next one.